Hello, this is JJ Humphrey. I'm with Bobby Cleveland again today. This is Elephant in the Room, where we talk about everything that nobody else wants to talk about. Always glad to talk about those kind of things, what affects Oklahoma. And today we're talking about a trip that I took last Monday. And Bob, I got to fly down. Bob Keys actually flew us down there. We actually met a sheriff there for Eagle Pass there in Texas. And I don't know if you've been watching TV, but Eagle Pass is where a lot of the hot spot right now on bringing illegals over into Del Rio and landed there. And the sheriff picked us up. Bob, sheriff picked us up. There was 5 of us, and he picked us up in a pickup. And they stuffed 4 of us back there in the back seat. Golly, I felt like I was back in my high school years going to jail or something, stuffed in the back seat of the sheriff's. But, I had to roll down the window and I'm hanging out like this. We drove 56 miles like that. It was quite a ride. But, Bob, we got down there and something I didn't know. You may know this, but Florida and a lot of other states are sending law enforcement down there. I think Florida was one we talked to.
Yeah.
Sending the law enforcement.
Several states are doing that. Oklahoma sent some.
Yeah. Oklahoma, I think, I can't remember whether we sent some National Guard or something down there, I think. But that's what it's going to take is all of us states sticking together and sending people to help out. But when we got there, Bob, it was we landed somewhere around 1 something. And by the time we got down there to the Rio, it was probably 3 o'clock, 3:30, somewhere like that. We went in there and we met with, I don't know, 7 or 8 of these Florida game wardens that were working there. They told us that, hey, y'all too late. Said we apprehended 450. It's about 450 that morning. And what they told us was that a lot of these were women, children, and that they're putting them out there in the deeper part of the river so that your manpower has to be taken up, making sure that people aren't drowning. They've got to watch all this, and they feel like while they're watching this, that they're actually going on down the river and running guns or drugs or other human trafficking type programs or whatever you want to call it, illegal activity. So the officers were really, frustrated in that they believed that this was just a decoy to draw them away and do other illegal things. But 450 that morning, Bob, and they were talking to us about, y'all probably ain't going to see nothing. It's probably over with today. We left there and went down the river. And I bet we hadn't gone about a mile. And we get down there, they've got 2 or 3 of those bridges that run. I don't remember what the name of that town on the Mexican side is, but they said there's about 1 million people, I think, live over there. It's what they told us. But huge bridges going back and forth. We get down there under one of those that they had apprehended right there. And Bob, most of them were small children to teenage. There was a few adults in there. I think I took a picture of that. It's just unbelievable that these kids, the sheriff was telling us that they had one of the children that they'd got and taken to their office that basically that they had that one kid and that they had him down there in the office. And he said he needed to go to the bathroom. And they said, well, we'll show you where the bathroom is. And he said, no, I've been here 3 times. I know where the bathroom is. And he said it's a small kid that they had apprehended 3 different times that they were using that kid. And it's just unbelievable to say.
What's the bottom line that what Biden's trying to do, trying to get more votes into the country and more people that could stir up trouble? Is that the main goal for this?
Bob, a year or so ago, that was kind of my thought on that they're just trying to win elections. I no longer believe that. I believe Joe Biden's a low-life, sorry traitor, period.
Just trying to destroy our country.
Here's the deal. Bob, if you want to destabilize a country, do exactly what they're doing right now. I mean, when you talk about destabilizing, crushing a country, if we don't do something pretty quick, you're going to see. And again, right now, Bob, how many people are coming in that are, again, what we saw the other day where we were at, were lot of family units. Now, what they talk like over in Tucson, and I've been to McAllen, and I've been here, and I've talked to a lot of people. I've went to two separate trainings on this, and again, one of the things that they're talking about is a military type age of guys coming in, men coming in, all different nationalities, all tied. A lot of them, not all, but a lot of them be tied to China. And so, again, when you talk about Venezuela, China's got a strong presence in Venezuela. And so, again, when you see people coming in, are they just here by accident? Are they here under their control? Those are things you've got to look at. And again, Bob, we went up that river. We let those 70 right there, which again was mainly teenagers, small kids, had some adults in it. We went down the river and ran into about 10 that had crossed the river, and there's some razor wire there, and they couldn't get through the razor wire, and so they're kind of walking up and down the banks there on our side, on the United States side, looking how to get through that razor wire. Bob, they got clothes all over because they'll take clothes and pile on that razor wire until they get it mashed down, then they'll climb over. So there's clothes hanging all over, piles of clothes down there when you're going down that river. We ran into 5 more that had a National Guard. He was taking them back up there where them 70 were at. And we talked to them for just a little bit. And one was from Cuba, Honduras. I think 2 of them was from Honduras. And then I think one was from Venezuela. Anyways, there was 2 from Venezuela. I can't remember, but those were the 3 countries. You're not seeing a lot of Mexican people coming across. What you're seeing is a lot of other nationalities coming across. I got to hang out with the deputy. I got in another vehicle after we got out of that back seat, and I got in another vehicle, and that deputy there, very interesting guy, but he told us that they had another county over, and they said they had 17 miles of river is what they had. And he said that he by himself had done 5,000, felonies on illegals, either being there illegal or trespassing. Said him by himself this year already wrote 5,000 felonies.
Did he turn them back, or did he?
Well, they apprehend them, and then what do you do with them? And that's the deal. They release them. Bob, I was down there at McAllen not very long ago, and one of the guys said something that just, it made sense. I may have talked to you about this, but he was talking about, look at how overrun New York is right now. That just illegals overrun. If you watch, they were talking about that they do for the homeless, that they do a dinner, Thanksgiving dinner for the homeless. And they said that the American citizens, that they let the illegals in before the American citizens, and the American citizens didn't get to eat because there's so many illegals that they ate it all up. Now that's pretty sad commentary, but New York being overrun. Now, if you remember how many buses, Texas didn't send that many buses up there. They sent 6, 7, whatever they sent. But how many people can you put on a bus? You know what I'm saying? If you got 100 per bus, I don't think you'd probably get that many on there. But if you could, guess what? That's 600 people. That ain't a drop in the bucket. So where are all these people coming from? We're being told they're flying them in. So if they're flying them in, Bob, golly, if they're flying them in, who can keep track on how many is here?
Well, where are they flying them into?
Well, all these cities like New York, Chicago, and all that's what I'm hearing from all the places that we go. That's what's being told. Now, I don't know what kind of evidence, but the bigger question that I have, Bob, is where are they flying them in from? So, if we're apprehending them on this side and then we're sending them to all these different cities, that's one thing. But are we flying them in from another country and bringing them in and bypassing all of the deportations and all of the immigrant status and just
Hey, give this some thought. Say this is reversed, and the Republicans are doing this, bringing them in. Same thing going on. Just Republicans. Do you think that the Democrats wouldn't be having a mob down there and stopping them and raising all kinds of
Well,
steam?
Bob, it's just kind of like when you talk about elections. It's all right for what was her name? Impeach 45, impeach 45. That's all you heard. Maxine Waters or whatever her name is. If you hear Hillary Clinton, illegitimate president. We own, and I mean constantly, how the election was stolen, and even went as far to set up the Russian hoax using the CIA. And we know all this. This ain't maybe. This is not. I think it's already proven. Now you do all of that, but then guess what? They're going to go after Donald Trump, President Trump, for merely stating facts of how he believes the election was stolen. And again, I tell you what makes him mad is because he's got facts on his side and they never had anything. But Bob, to your point, absolutely. When the Democrats do something, hey, nothing to see here, keep on going. I've watched several here lately on Hollywood, whether it, just be various ones talking about what a great job Joe Biden has done. Joe Biden by himself has dismantled the border. We've been pretty stable on the border. We've had some problems back and forth. The best time is when Donald Trump was on there, and that's not me saying it. Go look at the numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. But here's the deal. Joe Biden, and if you go talk to the Border Patrol, they will openly tell you Joe Biden has dismantled the Border Patrol. What blows my mind is Mayorkas, that's over Homeland Security. The Republicans had a chance to impeach him. I think, Taylor Greene, she filed.
Our Republicans voted against it.
9 Republicans, they could have had it, but 9
It's
Republicans.
the same thing we got at the Capitol.
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, it is unreal at what this guy has done to the Border Patrol and to our border, to our national security. And Bob, we're not just talking about illegals coming in and changing the structure of our nation. And Bob, here's the deal. If you want to see a good example of this, look at what's going on with the Jews right now, at the hatred to Jews and all of the marches that are going on, supporting Hamas, a terrorist group. How in the world can we've got people in Congress that are supporting terrorists. We got people who are supporting Hamas. And again, these are not the Palestine people. These are terrorists. And again, they're funded by Iran. And when Trump was in there, guess what? He had Iran set on their heels. He had China set on their heels. He had Russia set on their heels. You didn't see all of this. Under Joe Biden, look at what all the activity, all the military things that are going on, the wars and I'm going to laugh. I heard a guy say the other day, he said, hey, you Democrats, y'all pony up and get ready when it comes time for the, when they start recruiting the military age people to step up and go to the military. He was laughing. He said, yeah, they'll all get hanged toenails or something, and be like, we can't go. But when the draft starts, and guys, the military is low right now. And if we get into a war, guess what? The draft is going to start. And again, where are we at on all this? I mean, how many people do we have in our country? I'm really scared the next war we're going to see is going to be fought right here at the house, right here on our doorstep. It'll be me and you fighting it, Bob.
Yeah. Well, me and you going to be on the same team?
Well, I think so, Bob. We agree on most, You get sideways. I try to straighten you out. I'll keep you straight, Bob. That's what I'm here for, is keep you straight. Hey, Bob, one of the things that we seldom hear about is these rape trees. And my understanding now they got rape kits for these gals that are coming over from Mexico. It's almost like a guarantee you're going to get raped to come over. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a rite of passage to come over for a woman to be raped. And so, it's unreal. How are we going to talk? All I hear from the media, from Hollywood is, doing the humane things. And, man, they on me like the animal activists are on me all the time, Bob. The animal activists get plumb crazy on me. And yet, here like never before. And here's the thing: nobody's saying not a word.
Yeah.
Chicken more important than human slavery and rape and these kind of things. It's just unbelievable to me at the lack of conversation, the lack of news that we're seeing. I finally saw, in fact, Bob, I watched this morning. They had Eagle Pass right there where we'd been. In fact, some of the stuff they showing, I can almost guarantee you that's right where we were at. And they were showing people coming across that river, just into groves. And again, how do you handle, Bob? I don't know. I've been out where we've had to arrest a few people. I remember one night I went to a big place that probably had 30 people partying there. And, people running out the back doors and stuff. We're trying to get a handle on that, on 30 of them. Can you imagine 400 people? 400 people, Bob. That's a large crowd. That's a big crowd. 400 a day. Can you, Bob? I was looking at some numbers. I want to say I wrote that down somewhere here. 241,000, I think, is what they said they apprehended in October.
Wow.
241,000. Bob, if you multiply that, just by 10, if you said that was steady for 10 months, that'd be 2,400,000 and
right.
Unbelievable. 2,400,000. Guess what? That's half Oklahoma in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's better than half Oklahoma. So you're bringing in, and that's not counting the gotaways, Bob. So what are we doing?
And well, they're going to watch it. They'll be having a bill to allow them to vote.
Oh, Bob, hey, here in Oklahoma, we had a bill to give them driver's license last year, and turned into a hot debate.
I was shocked at how many Republicans were for that.
Hey, you know what, Bob? I had a stand your ground bill for the police department for law enforcement, meaning that if they shot somebody in self-defense to protect themselves, it just says that the DA has to prove that they were not in fear for their life before he can file a charge or she can file a charge on them. Keeps the DA from filing frivolous lawsuits and making these law enforcement people go through a year or so worrying about their job, worrying about their career, and worrying about whether they're going to go to jail. And so it puts the responsibility back on the DA to make sure, as they should before they file the charge. If they don't have that, they don't have a case anyways. So it's just good policy. I filed that, got it through the House. And again, because of that bill that we're talking about, the driver's license bill, they got so mad because old Don Spencer went after the ones trying to do it. Man, old Don.
He didn't hold back on that.
Don ain't got a whole lot of reverse on him. So Don poured it to him. Put them out publicly. Scorched them. And so they thought my second, my stand your ground bill for the police was one that Don was, had me file. And so they stuck it in rules to keep it from getting heard because they thought it was Don's bill. That's how bad it got over there. They were just that mad at each other and mad at Don because he put it out there. A couple of others. Bob, I just got to say, because a lot of people just unaware of how woke a lot of this stuff has become. But your big groups, your state chambers, that one was pushed by Farm Bureau. And it's just hard to believe that Farm Bureau, your local ranch, your rural Farm Bureau is one pushing that. And again, I'm saying that to encourage anybody listening that are in Farm Bureau that has that insurance, go down and start participating. Each one of those have a local chapter, and you can participate. You can go to the state, become a state delegate, and you can start having influence. And that's what's happened. A lot of people have just quit going, and they're just doing whatever they want to do. And that big organization has went pretty south on situations like that. So again, nobody's going to tell you that. I'm probably, I mean, that's not good politics, wisdom on politics to get a big group like that mad at you for just telling. They'll get mad at you if you tell the truth, but I just don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just personally, I've asked, I want to say hundreds of people, do you favor illegals getting driver's license? Not one person has said yes. Oh yeah, we need to do that. What about you?
Bob, I was at a group the other day, a bunch of cow guys, beef people, and I asked that. I said, "How many of y'all would be in favor for this?" Oh, golly, man, they went to, "Hey, no, man," I mean, they were hollering all over, and I said, "Well, you do know what that was presented," and I had a senator there, and I said, "Hey, right there's a man who can tell you it's in the Senate," and I said, you said it was split almost 50-50 on that. What my understanding was. They end up tabling it because of that. But again, Bob, if you think that it doesn't affect, I don't know how far we flew down to Eagle Pass, Bob, but when we drove to McAllen, and I'd say McAllen's quite a bit farther than Eagle Pass. You kind of angle off out there towards the west, Eagle Pass, and go on down further on the border there at McAllen. But McAllen was 10 hours. We Bob, quit doing that, man. Quit doing that. You can't contagious. But 10 hours, Bob, is what McAllen was. I don't know what Eagle Pass probably be. How long is it before they right on your doorstep? And we're already seeing them on our doorstep. And Bob, they estimated, realized that the other day, they estimated 782,000, million, Bob, I'm wrong. $782 million is what it's costing Oklahoma for illegals. I think that estimate's way short, but still, even if they're right, that's a heck of a lot of money out of the Oklahoma budget,
Sure.
So again, you're looking at all of these agencies, whether it be the education, having to take care of. And Bob, if you don't speak but one language, if you don't speak English, it makes it much harder. And so, how's that affecting our schools? How's that affecting being able to teach other kids? So it's not just a dollar figure. It's what's it costing us? How much is it costing us DHS? How much is it costing in the homeless issues and feeding these people, in medical? You start adding it all up, whether it's jail, whether it's prison. Again, Bob, I know me and you do a lot of stuff related to the prisons, and you know as well as I do, the gang issues have just overwhelmed. I mean, the gang issues.
Well, the interesting thing about that is nobody keeps track of how many illegals are in prison. Not any state does. You ask any of them, and they don't know.
Well, Bob, the question is, why are they in prison? Because why are we not deporting? Now, if they did a heinous crime and we want to keep them, okay. But why are we not deporting? Why are we paying thousands and thousands of dollars to house these people when guess what? You know what them other places are doing, Bob?
Nope.
They're emptying out half these people coming across. Guess what? They're emptying out their prisons and sending them up here. That's what they're doing. And so, again, I say we need to empty out our prison. If you're there and you're illegal, I'd have you shipped across. I'd take you far south. They go, well, they just come back. They might come back, but I'd make them walk a long, long ways. Give them a parachute. I wouldn't even land, Bob. I'd just fly over that jungle and say, there you go, son.
You just let them out right there?
Good luck. I'd kick them out that plane. Good luck. Pull that handle. Hope it works for you. You know what I'm saying? Out you go. So, people say, "Oh, you're cold-blooded." Yeah, I guess I am. I suppose that I am. But again, if we don't start becoming somewhat of that mindset, we're going to lose our country. That's what's up for grab.
Well,
Bob,
that's what we're trying to do.
I don't know if you watched the news here lately, and I don't think a whole lot of people are aware of this. Ain't hearing a whole lot of talk on it, but they discovered a lab, one of these medical labs, bio labs. So we talk about COVID, we talk about the origin of COVID, we talk about the Wuhan lab, we talk about how COVID was unleashed, and again, Joe Biden just met with, and get this, Bob, so I don't know if people are paying attention, and a lot of times they look at me and think, boy, you don't know nothing, look at you. I watch, I listen, I read, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little more informed than what you might believe. But here's the deal. Your Chinese president, your Chinese dictator, nobody wants to call him that. That's what he is. He's a dictator. So your Chinese dictator comes over to where? He don't come to Washington. Who does he come to meet with?
Cartels.
California. And he meets with the governor. Boy, that's a peckerhead if there ever was one. You know what? I mean, what's going right in California? Is there anything going right in California, Bob?
It's terrible.
Terrible. I mean, look at what the people are leaving by the groves. They can't get climate right. They can't get taxes right. They can't get any of the social issues right. I'm talking moron. This dude's a moron. But guess who the dictator from China's coming to visit? Moron governor from California. And then they invite old Sleepy Joe. They invite Trader Joe to come out there and see him. Now, here's what's funny. As bad as California has been, as bad as San Francisco has been, guess what they did there in San Francisco for this dictator to come?
Cleaned it up.
Cleaned it up, Bob. Now, is that not a sad day in the United States when we're going to clean up a city that's been the worst in the world, and then you're going to clean it up for what? For a sorry dictator, communist, treasonous bastard to come visit you, and you're going to clean that up for him, and then the president is going to come in like second fiddle, Johnny come lately, and he's going to come out there. That'll tell you how weak our president is, if that'll tell you what that governor's all about. You think that wasn't done on purpose to make old idiot boy governor look like he's somebody like the Chinese dictator would come see him.
Well, he was just over there.
Oh, it's unreal. It's unreal. So again,
and he wants to be president.
Oh, he's wanting it. He's wanting it. Heaven help us. Golly, if California is any indicator, hey, Bob, if you went to the racetracks, you bet on the horse that wins. You don't bet on the horse that loses. If he loses every time, you sure don't. That's what you call a long shot. That's a sad. So here's the deal. Anybody vote for him, Gavin Newsom, golly. I mean, Bob, I don't call people short and I don't call people ugly. I ain't got no room to talk. I sure don't call people idiots much, but you can guarantee if I call you short, you're pretty short. And if I call you ugly, woo, it's bad. But if I call you an idiot, you're damn sure an idiot. And I'll guarantee you he's an idiot. He is an idiot. And I'm careful about, you don't hear me calling people idiots much, but that guy right there, heaven help us if we ever have him as president. And all these people say that if Trump gets presidents, they move. I wish we'd make them sign something, because last time they all said that and they didn't move. I wish we'd make them sign something this time and get them out of here. But Bob, back on that lab deal I was talking about, Wuhan, they killed millions with that lab.
Right.
And they destroyed so many economies, the world economy, and they did that on purpose. I mean, there's no way they didn't do it on purpose. They blocked all the traffic in China and then let it all go out to the world. They bought up all the medical PPE and all that, ventilators, knowing that was coming. I mean, hey, if you don't think so, go back and look. They bought it all up. They waited till everybody's in a bind. They sold it for 3 times as much, 10 times as much. Again, that's China. And so here we find a lab in San Francisco, the very city they came to. And how they found that, Bob, my understanding was one of the guys that inspects buildings saw a pipe coming out of the place, didn't look right, and he got to running it down and walks in and finds this lab, goes over there on the freezer, and the freezer's labeled Ebola, you know. Now you got Ebola viruses sitting right there in the freezer of a lab that nobody even knows who's keeping control of. Here's the deal: I can't have underground gas tanks without the government all over me. Here's a stinking medical lab like the Wuhan lab sitting out there with no control. They chased back some of the money, like $2 million that come from CCP. Guess what, Bob? These suckers are buying up land, buying it up by our military bases. They're coming in the groves. They're doing these labs. They're sending over fentanyl. You know, a lot of people now, most people, Bob, are hearing about fentanyl, you know, by now. But do you think most people know that we had 107,000 people killed last year, or this coming year, I think is what they estimate, on fentanyl? Can you imagine that, Bob?
And most of those there was a lot of young kids on that too.
Yeah, they estimated what I saw was between the ages of 19 and 48. So that's your primary age group people, Bob. Again, if you're looking at military age, those are your top military ages. They're wiping out a whole group of people right there without ever firing a bullet. And again, that's on course to do it year after year, and we're doing absolutely nothing. You know, when we talk about rape trees,
Are we giving them any shots at all when they come in here? Do you know? Did you see that going on?
Bob, I was talking to a person the other day, and they were talking about, did I know about the Statue of Liberty and about Ellis Island there? And I said, yeah, I know a little bit about Ellis Island. And they said, well, that's the same thing that's going on today. And I said, no, not at all the same thing. Because I said what they were doing is they were bringing them in there and they were quarantining them and they were making sure that they were healthy. And, before they were releasing them on in. And absolutely, they were letting people come in. But they were letting people, and they were keeping track of how many, and they knew what was going on. I said, right here, you got, wide open. And again, back then people weren't coming in to attack. People were coming in to become American citizens. They wanted to simulate to Americans, and we had them being trained. Guess what? Before you could become an American citizen, you had to learn the language. You had to learn some history. You had to take an oath to America. Hey, what do we got going on right now? Bob, they're flying the Mexican flag. They're like I say, marching thousands and thousands marching for Hamas, for a terrorist group. Again, that's the people that you want to simulate here into America. And guess what? They're going to change your culture. They're going to change America. It won't be America no more. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. It's just really hard to believe that this is going on. We used to hear that, a president didn't have that much power. It's the Congress, and but the stuff he's doing, he needs to be impeached. That's all there is to it.
Oh, that's all there is. I mean, they've got more. They got enough evidence. How much evidence does it take? If you got a film bragging, you're up there bragging about doing all the stuff that you're doing. You've got your banking, your kids taking all of this money. They're showing it direct back to you. Your whole family's taking money all back to you. I mean, what else do you need? But again, the Republicans, I just scratch my head. They always worried about image. They're always worried about right and wrong. That stinking other side don't worry about. I've laughed. They've been on J6. And again, we know the FBI was involved in that. We know that they did not. They refused to have people for security that day. So again, Bob, I've investigated a lot of stuff. And the minute that people are starting hollering, well, I guarantee you the first ones, when they start hollering that loud, go look at them first. That's the way it always
You know,
is.
we only had one death in that whole thing, and that was done by the Democrats when the guy shot the girl.
Right. And you think about George Floyd, what happened with George Floyd, and they set half the country on fire. And this gal, military, great person, shot, unarmed, and yet you don't even hear nothing about it. You don't, that guy never even sees the light of day on prosecution. You don't hear anything about him. Why not? Why not? Why again, you're seeing two tiers. You're seeing two tiers of justice. But Bob, the thing about it is, on that, you get to see when the FBI sets up there and they say, "Did you have people?" And oh, by the way, we have film of them inviting people in, talking to people, bringing them in. FBI, and again, did you have people involved in that? We can't comment. You want me to tell you what that's short for? Yes, that's short for
right.
Absolutely. Otherwise, he'd say no. If he didn't have anybody in there, he'd say no.
Well, I would say that's the ongoing investigation.
Ongoing investigation. That's the answer to everything, whether it's federal or state, any agency.
We've heard that before.
Ongoing investigation. You are not high enough level to speak to us about that. You're going to decide our budget. You're going to decide our whole laws and everything else, but we can't tell you because you're below us, and that's the way we always see it, Bob. And that's what's going on up there. But here's the deal, Bob. Why we're on all of that. So here we are, January 6th, trying to get Trump, putting people in jail that were just there. They got them on film, people just sitting there. Got one lady had cancer, put her in jail. She's sitting there, don't break it, don't do this. Put her in jail. It's unreal. People are being put in jail without any due process. It's the gulag. The American gulag is what it's turned into. But yet here we're concentrating on that, knowing that the DOJ is using their office to go after people, knowing the FBI was involved in it up to their neck. And here's the deal. We've got illegals coming across our border. We've got drugs coming across our border. We got terrorists coming across our border. And what are they looking at? They're looking at Granny on a sidewalk saying, "Don't break this." That's what we see. Bob, I'm going to tell you something. I hope Trump does get elected. But if he does, you know what? It's going to be he's going to have so many things that he'd have to straighten out. But I don't believe, I'm believing if you're going to fix our country, you're going to have to dismantle. You're going to have to dismantle Homeland Security and get all the pukes out of that and set up a new Homeland Security. You may want to call it the same thing, but you're going to have to dismantle it and rebuild it. FBI, Ray ought to be taken out and horsewhipped is what Ray ought to be. He ought to be prosecuted. And the thing about it is, you're going to have to dismantle that whole deal. I don't know whether to call it FBI again or not, but you're going to have to, dismantle that. The DOJ, CIA, all of those. Your military, guess what? I'd clean house. I'd clean house from top to bottom on anybody management. And if you got back into management, you would have to earn it. You know what I mean?
Well, the illegals, no question about it, is a major story. I don't know. I haven't looked at any polling on that yet, but I think it polled pretty high that the American people are tired of it.
Well, any American that's got any common sense, Bob, knows that this is it's to destabilize, it's to destroy. When we first started talking about, do you think it's to change the election? I think that it probably will have definite impact on that. We'll see a big, huge impact on that. But Bob, I've far since just decided it's not about that. I believe there are people in our government right now who are treasonous, traitors. I know I shouldn't cuss, but I get mad. Boy, I get mad on this subject. And they're traitors. And again, these people would see this country destroyed because they believe that they're going to be in part of the global elitists, 1 or 2% elitists, and the rest of them, those people out there in Hollywood, are morons. They think they got a couple of $1 billion and they're going to be. And what they don't understand is they'll be sitting down there with the rest of us because they're idiots. And again, if you don't believe that, go look at China. Go look at North Korea. Go look at a dictatorship and see how many people are doing well under that. And again, if they are, I'll guarantee you they're doing exactly whatever the government. You don't go against the government. You don't have your own thoughts. You can't speak out. You do, and you're ruined. And that's what these people are pushing for, is to destroy our country and have us become a communist, socialist government. And again, if you can't, look at where all these people are coming from, Bob. What's their country like? And we're going to bring all those people in here, and we think that's going to make our country better.
Yeah, and people, the same people, they don't like the United States, but yet everybody's coming in here. Nobody's trying to break into Cuba. No one's trying to get into China.
Well, like I say, if you want to, you ain't got to be real smart to copy off of or to see what's happened. Venezuela was one of the third best nation there for a while. It was one of the higher up income, nice place to live.
A lot of oil.
Yeah, all oil stuff. But again, they had a free and democratic society, and yet, hey, in just a minute, it was destroyed. And again, you see those people leaving just to try. And again, look at how they're coming. Look at what they're coming to and what they're willing to risk to come up here. And that's the average person. And again, what do you see? Who knows what's Bob, I was watching a deal the other day on Canada. And I wasn't aware. I was reading some stuff the other day that I believe the American-Canada border is the largest border in the world. I think it's what I read.
Right.
And so that's pretty fascinating. And one of the things that I was listening to or reading was that in certain places, one of those major rivers lakes would freeze. And that lake is between a reservation and Canada, and that lake would freeze, and that they would transport all kinds of illegal things back and forth. And so right now they're talking about, hey, that we're open on the Canada side, and that they're taking advantage of that as well. So it's time to bring in the military. It's time to build, and that's what's unbelievable, Bob. We had a fence being built. We had barriers being built, and then the moron trader, hey, took it all down, sold it for nothing. And now Mayorgas, what an idiot. He's back to, we're going to have to build it. We're going to have to build it now. Well, where have you been for the last 2 years, Yeah. And again, how in the world? But Bob, the problem is it ain't just these morons that we got that are traitors. It's those that are sitting in Congress. When you can't get enough to vote out a moron like that, then you got a problem. And again, that's a Republican problem. That's some of the leadership, because I'll guarantee you I'd have scorched those 9. If those
What's
9
the same with that guy that was up there that was lying, did all that lying?
Yeah.
Cheated on his campaign money, and he's still there. Still doing it. Well, JJ, I appreciate you bringing us up to date on what happened over the border. I thank you for going, because it could be a dangerous place.
Bob, hey, it is no question. Those guys down there are exposing whether it be, Bob. A lot of people don't think would you think China or one of these cartels would think twice, bat an eye about infecting a group of people with either TB. That was another thing that was at that lab, TB, tuberculosis, HIV, one of those, Ebola. You think they would even blink an eye at doing that and sending people in here and infecting the United States? Hey, again, we used to, when we deported or when we had people coming in, we quarantined them for a certain period of time to
Right.
watch. And again, we're not doing that. We're letting thousands and thousands a day, 241,000 people. You think any of them had COVID? You think any of them had tuberculosis?
Yeah.
How about Ebola? Why do they have these labs? You think they're just down there doing really experimental work, or do you think that they're actually working on infecting the United States? Well, my guess is the latter.
Right. Well, hey, we need to shut down. So once you go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, Bob, I'm going to tell you that everybody needs to know what is going on. You need to get involved. You need to understand why we as Oklahoma and how that impacts us. And you need to look at how do we get involved. Again, guys, I don't care if you're from Hugo. I don't care if you're from Boise City. It's time to get active. It's time to get noisy. It's time to get involved in your government, whether that be illegal driver's license, whether that be these companies who want to push woke agendas and all of the woke and socialism of wokeness, guys, whether it's transgender, whether it's a homosexual, LGBTQ, I call them alphabet mafia, all of this is done to disrupt, whether it's lawlessness, an attack on our law and order, all of it is being done to destabilize, disrupt. When we look at homeless issues, another form of just ruining your businesses. We're going to be passing legislation on that. It's time that you, as Oklahomans, get involved, get a list of the bills, call your state representatives and call your congressman and tell them that you demand, that you are insisting that we pass, whether it be stopping illegals from buying land, whether it be to shut down all the marijuana that's ruining this state. No matter what it is, get involved in getting your people elected and get involved with supporting the people who are doing good at your legislators. So, Bob, I think that pretty much clears it up for today. Really excited about getting to see that. I really think old Bob Keeves is running for state senator, be a mighty fine one. And I just really thank him for flying us down there. Our sheriff that was down there took us around. He's actually from Ardmore. I appreciate him. The deputy that helped him, David Harden, Danny Williams that went down there with me. They're great guys. It was just a really good trip, really eye-opener and educational trip.
Well, I appreciate you very